Take a pit stop for all things NASCAR with the Four Tire Change podcast. Here is your host, Dawson Iserlo.
It's Four Tire Change podcast, ESPN Southwest Louisiana. Dawson Iserlo back with you here. Another exciting episode. A big-time bounce-back win for William Byron, his first since the Daytona 500, and a look ahead to Watkins Glen. Excited to talk about Shane van Gisbergen, his quest for 4 consecutive road course W's. All that coming up here on Four Tire Change. So let's begin with the race that was won by Willie B. You know, it's an interesting set of circumstances. You're going to Iowa. It's a place you've only been now for the second time in the Cup Series side of things. It's a short-ish track. You know, it's a track that we know the package hasn't allowed for the most passing at. So you wondered how a race like this would play out. And I got to be honest, like Brad Keselowski's speed caught me off guard. He wins both the stages. It really felt like there was a chance for RFK to completely crash this playoff party. And I know, you know, the broadcast was talking about it too. You talk about flip up some playoff scenarios if Keselowski wins his way in. And so he was a factor there. You know, track position mattered a lot. Look, the racing wasn't incredible. I thought it was fine. You know, I did enjoy some of the strategy elements. I like that there was the added element of feeling like Byron might run out of fuel. It's always a little anticlimactic when the guy who you're thinking is maybe going to run out of fuel just doesn't. And you're like, well, okay, that was a little bit of a build-up for nothing. But all things considered, look, Byron needed this, you know, and there's been multiple iterations. I put William Byron right next to Christopher Bell in my head in the same category. Drivers who are clearly very good. One drives for the most powerful Chevy team. One drives for the most powerful Toyota team. They both have had these moments where you're like, he's about to break out and become a superstar in this sport. And yet, then they both have had these stretches where, and maybe it's some of their race teams not being as consistent, where they just have gone these long, and I mean, Bell's in one right now. Like Christopher Bell just has not had that race-winning speed since he won 3 races in a row early in the season. You know, and William Byron wins the Daytona 500, and you're thinking off of another really nice building block year last year, he's about to explode, and this is going to be the year Willie B. Hadn't won since. You know, so look, he's near the top of the point standings, right? He's been first or second or third for the majority of the season, so he's been up there, he's been fine. It just hasn't been that, like, okay, that moment where you go, that's a superstar in the making, like, or that's not even in the making. There's our guy. That's the guy we thought we had. So I thought it was very well done by William Byron. He had to handle a lot of bit of, you know, external factors there, the fuel mileage, making sure he had enough, saving gas, holding off, you know, getting through lap cars. So job well done to the 24 team. As far as for the playoff standings, you know, look, you still have those bubble drivers, Ryan Preece holding on, Chris Buescher right there, Alex Bowman, all those guys are going to still be in jeopardy, and Tyler Reddick feeling a little bit better about himself now that Byron got that win. But think about it this way. You got 3 races left before the playoffs. Watkins Glen this week, Richmond next week. By the way, I will be at Richmond next week. Excited about that. And then Daytona in the all bets are off finale of the regular season, right? Richmond, I don't know. We'll talk about Richmond in a minute. But Watkins Glen, you know you could have a new winner. You know there could be somebody who jumps up and takes something from SVG, although he's going to be the favorite. Allmendinger in play. And then Daytona, all bets are off. So, like, if you're on the bottom of the cut line, if you're Chris Buescher, Ryan Preece, even Alex Bowman, I'm not feeling good about myself right now. I'm just not. And so we'll see how that plays out over the next couple of weeks. I do want to spend a good bit of time talking about what SVG can accomplish because it would be really remarkable. Even if you think about the best road course ringers, Marcos Ambrose, like Marcos Ambrose never won 4 straight road course races. This would be, I mean, really an unbelievable feat. And I know there was a long stretch of time where, like, you know, maybe Jeff Gordon had a great run where he was dominating road courses. This is getting to a point, man, and now there's so many of them on the schedule. Now, I will say this. First off, he did get beat at Watkins Glen last year. Definitely happened, right? Did not win that race. He wasn't regularly driving the Cup Series car, though, and I think that point has to be made. This year, now that he's been in it consistently, I think you've seen that extra level it's added to his racing ability. Watkins Glen, though, as I said before, the same way I felt like there was much more of a chance that he wasn't going to win the race at Sonoma than, let's say, Mexico City. These Cup Series drivers all have a lot of experience at Watkins Glen. Cup Series has been going to Watkins Glen longer than, you know, just about any other road course on the schedule, right? So it is a faster road course as well. It's one of my favorites for that reason. But speed in the car can matter, I feel like, a little bit more than it does at maybe another road course where you have so many turns and it's about handling. It's about the driver that can put themselves at the apex of each corner correctly and navigate the course. You still need some speed in the car at Watkins Glen. And it's not to say Trackhouse isn't going to give SVG a good car, but there's probably going to be some cars that are faster than his, right? So that, I think, makes this really interesting. If I'm starting to create a scenario in which SVG gets beat, of course, there's always just, hey, he could get involved in an incident. Somebody could clear him out. He could have an engine failure. Those are all possible, and that's always in play. But I wonder if he's really going to be the fastest car out there. He might be the fastest driver, but I'll ask the question, will he be the fastest car? That's what I think is going to be really intriguing to me about the race this weekend at Watkins Glen. So if I have to pick this race, of course I'm going to pick SVG, but AJ Allmendinger is definitely in play for me. I still think somebody like Michael McDowell has a shot. Some of the guys who've been consistently really good at these things, Tyler Reddick. Now, I go back to it. You definitely have some questions about the speed for 2311, but then you go, hey, Bubba Wallace just won a race, so maybe the 2311 cars are okay after all. Tyler Reddick he's not quite yet in the same category for me as Byron and Bell are, where I'm like, why are there these stretches where he doesn't perform? But he's kind of getting there. So Tyler Reddick might be added to that list soon too, where it's like, hey, these three drivers, they're all really, really good. They're not in danger of losing their jobs. They're not in danger of getting, demoted or anything like that. I just wonder if they're reaching their full potential and what it would take for them to get to that full potential. So that will be fascinating to watch. I do think after that, Richmond has some really interesting factors about it. We're going to talk much more about Richmond on next week's podcast. Really excited to get a chance to get over there and see that facility for the first time. We'll have some photos, some videos for you in future pods from it. But Richmond could definitely cause a wild card. I just think at Watkins Glen, I like the chances of a repeat winner just because I think SVG has, his chances of winning in my mind, I don't know if it's 50-50. Maybe that's a fair number to put on it, 50% chance that he wins this race. Will be interesting to see if anybody has anything for him in practice, but you just know when he gets out there, he's going to handle each corner better than everybody else, and the number of mistakes, that's what impresses me. He just doesn't make mistakes very often at all. So, hey, everybody's gunning for him at this point. There's no more like, well, is he going to be able to do this consistently? Like, we know SVG's got to beat at these road courses. So go out and try and beat him. And that's where these drivers are at right now. Could somebody like Christopher Bell even or William Byron, those two guys I just mentioned, could they have a factor in this race? Surely. But I would go with SVG ultimately with my race pick. It's a very much a cop-out pick. I acknowledge that. But man, if he did pull it off, another 5 playoff points, depending on how the stages fall, right, you could have short pitting to kind of change things up, but he could have a couple more stage wins, more playoff points. Like SVG could be put into a spot where in the first round of the playoffs, he's just got to finish 20th a few times and could be moving on. And if he gets to the round with the Roval in it, you start to really flip these playoffs into a spot we didn't think they were going to go. So it is a big week for SVG. Don't get it mistaken. Even though he's got 3 wins under his belt, it'd be massive for them to get the 4th and get up into the 20s in playoff points and really start to sit there and go, hey, if you want to beat me, you're going to have to come take it from me because I'm not going to beat myself. I think that's where SVG is, and I'm fascinated to see where it goes. That'll do it for this week's episode, 4-Tire Change. We will be back. I can't wait to recap this thing to see if SVG gets another one or if the field can take him down on Sunday at Watkins Glen. Then, of course, after that, exciting week ahead at Richmond. So continue to like, comment, subscribe. If you're new here, really appreciate it. Helps out the channel, helps out the podcast. We're rolling along. It's the 4-Tire Change Pod, ESPN, Southwest Louisiana Sports Station.